Hello world, welcome back to the Timberpony Railway. I have a bit of an engineering kerfuffle I'm working through currently. Let's run over to Woody and talk about him for a bit, and we will realize the scope of this engineering kerfuffle. This is my first railway wagon, Woody. He's currently stuck holding a whole bunch of water for the rainwater system so that I have plenty of water in case there's a drought for my plants. And he is a little truck all unto himself. He doesn't have bogies, he just runs on these four wheels that do the best they can to contact the rails. He has no suspension of any kind. This is just solid, bolted in place. I might actually install some springs on this so that he can bounce a little bit in there, if that doesn't cause too much of an issue. But for the most part, he's just a solid wagon unto himself, and this distance is the absolute maximum I can have a wheel set apart from each other on this railway, especially because of that one turn. And it is a very aggressive turn, and he's the little champion at that turn because he is completely maxed out in how far I can have these wheels apart. So anything else is going to need a bogey. If I run back over here. Okay, so now that we're back over here, these are the bogies I first purchased with these wheels. $60 got me one of these and one of these, so two of them, and of course 4 wheels. The only problem is when assembled properly, which I've already tried to reverse the wheels, and I can't do that because they don't spin right for some reason. I think there's a thickness issue. But when assembled properly and put onto the rails the right way, they have the flanges on the wrong side. So they have flanges on the outside of the rail, not the inside. The only way to fix that is to reverse their arrangement and put the bogie frame on the inside. And I can do that, it is possible. But then I also have a mounting issue where the only real mounting point I have is this little circle on the inside here, which is meant for the beam crane pole, and then a direct go down from like the hook or something. And that's all upside down from how these are meant to be. They're meant to sit on top of the beam and roll around like a trolley like this. I have reversed them, so they're a little topsy, especially for their width as a bogie. And I need to find a way to cure that problem as well. So, my current plan is to take this bogie, and based on my measurements, I can hollow out a portion right here that is square that can receive both a spring and a bar, just like a traditional railway bogie, except this piece is going to be on the inside of the wheels, which I'm fairly certain is going to make it less stable. But I will try to extend a little shelf out from here to where an extra spring set can sit to help stabilize it. And I couldn't express that really well in the drawing, but I do plan on extending it out a little bit. And once I get that installed, I'm also going to weld 2 pieces across this because these are not going to be connected axles, so any support I get from them being connected axles is lost. Once I weld these together, which I proved this is not galvanized. That's why I avoided welding it in the past. It's not galvanized. I can cut through it. I can weld it. It's fine. It's just some kind of coating finishing, but they wouldn't bother to galvanize a cheap beam trolley. So I weld that. Then this bar, which is going to be spring suspension supported, is going to be my main pin. It'll just be a hole, but a pin will receive into it, and that's what will create the turning motion on these bogies. And I'll have to have some kind of spacer to allow this to clear the bottom of whatever truck or whatever wagon I attach it to. But that's going to be more of an individual this truck interacting with that wagon problem. And then I can also attach an empty metal tube that can be my receiver for all kind of couplers and shenanigans such as that. I plan on putting a hook on it first for hook and chain, That's what Woody over there runs on, is just hook and chain. But eventually I might go for a Janny coupler, I don't know. It depends on what's in the cards. Probably link and pin is the cheapest option, so link and pin is inevitable. And that's the plan, so hopefully I can find the right materials at the hardware store. I don't really know. So I've been to the hardware store, and the plans I did have to change. I cannot hollow out this portion and put in springs. It's not that I can't do it, it's just that there's no point in doing it. If I was to put that much expense and effort into doing this, I would want just a proper housing made of this stuff from the start. I would just buy a whole bunch of either scrap steel, or I would just buy the steel you can pick up at like Rural King or whatever, and I would just make the entire bogey from that and then put on my own wheels. Since I'm using these beam trolleys, and I'm kind of trying to use them because I have them. They were my first wheels, and I feel like they should be part of the first set of rolling stock. I'm just not going to put that much thought and expense into these particular bogies. So I've prepped the metal by stripping off the outer coating, which has revealed the steel beneath, and then I'm just going to weld this on, and that'll keep the bogey from doing this little number on the rails, or this little number. That'll prevent that, or at least discourage it. And then I'm going to take a much bigger piece of metal and weld it on top, and that'll be these bogies welded permanently into being something usable, where then a hole gets drilled, and then there'll be a solid pin, and this bogey will just be then ready to go on the rails. I have a really bad habit of over-engineering. As for the coupler, I was going to attach it to the bogey, but looking at the size of it, it's just not necessary. I'm going to attach it to the car itself. The bogey will be underneath. So it'll be a bogeyed wagon, but it'll be a lot like Woody over there, where he has his couple on the frame and the wheels underneath. It'll just be a bogeyed version of Woody. But it's coming together. Now I just have to get to welding. Alrighty then. I have placed just the littlest tack welds into all four corners, and now I'm going to take it over to the rails and just give it a little push along just to see if it's lining up. I know for a fact there's no way with the equipment I have right now I can get this to be perfectly square. At least someone would say I could, but it's just not worth the effort to try and get it perfectly square when something that's almost perfectly square will do. I just need to make sure it rolls on the rails smoothly, and that I'm not making like a huge mistake. And then I'm going to sure up these welds by finishing them. And then I'm going to weld the bar on top, probably off camera. And then the bogey will be complete after I drill the hole, but the hole will be drilled when I build the wagon, not right now. And before I even build the wagon, I'll have to build the second one of these bogies. And it is beginning to rain on me, so I need to hurry. I can't weld in the rain. No well-laid plan survives its first iteration. Once I fully had this welded together and fit it on the rails, before I welded on the top piece, I realized that the height over wheel is really unnecessary. So I'm going to bring that down by just cutting along the top of the wheels right above where so that they won't rub on the bottom of the car, but they will still have less height over the rail to bring down the center of gravity by just those few inches, and that'll make it less likely to tip over, since I'm going to be putting a lot of weight on these particular bogies. Luckily, I have more of these brackets than I have of these wheels to fit on them, so this can be a wasted piece if I mess it up too bad, and I've already messed it up a little bit. I don't know how well you can see, but this one has already bowed in the wrong direction while I was welding it. I don't know what caused it to do that. I tried to hold it in place properly, but I guess my jig just wasn't good enough to hold it in place. I don't really have a good shop for this stuff. I'm kind of just doing it in my backyard. But let's get to cutting and see how much I can mess that up. I'm going to measure it and then masking tape it off, and you know, it's all farmer fixed railway, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, fiddlesticks. Well, I had attempted to record the cutting of these two pieces, but I didn't manage to do that because it turns out my phone had a little hiccup when I didn't notice it. and I guess the video didn't end up recording, but that's okay. It'll just mean my mother will have a longer lifespan because she won't watch me cutting metal on YouTube. Here's the basic idea, is now a flat piece can sit really close to those wheels and they will still spin just fine. I won't put the flat, even if the flat piece goes over these wheels, won't rub. I don't know if I'm going to install brakes on this Bogey or not. If I do, it will likely be some kind of wedge that sticks in between the wheels and is like a screw down brake system or something like that. I'm not certain. So for that, I imagine I'll need a piece of metal that goes across this and then maybe an additional piece later when I want to install the brakes. I'm not quite certain. It's been raining off and on me all week long. This is actually now spanning like 3 or 4 days, this one project, just because I keep getting rained out. I really need an indoor workshop where I can work on this stuff even if it's raining. But I guess just soldier on while it's only sprinkling now at the moment, and I will go get the bar steel and we'll start measuring and cutting, and hopefully I can get that on film. So what I have for my metal is a piece of big old channel steel. It's one that's not big, I guess, as channel steel goes. This is actually not that big, but it is hot rolled. It's already starting to rust a bit because it hasn't been painted. And if you know anything about channel steel, it's not as strong this way or this way, but it's greatly strong this way. And what I'll need to do is I'll have to lay it flat. So I wonder if this one piece will be enough once I knock. I'm going to knock about that much off each of these ends so it'll kind of slot in there, and then weld it. I might follow up with some angled steel on both sides to make just a solid steel component here as the Bogey. And I might actually be over-engineering this entire assembly, but I guess that's kind of the point. I'm not so certain. Either way, let's get to cutting. For those of you down in the comments, this is the appropriate time in which you can now talk about what I should have done when welding this, because I do not know how to weld. Actually, I never took classes on it. I just bought a welder. So I'm not myself a welder, I just own a welder. Which I guess is the same thing, right? That looks good enough. Oh. Come on. Come on. Come on. Seems good enough to go ahead and weld it. Ooh, I'm certain people in the comments will have something to say about that little incident. I'm just gonna use a different welding rod because that one's stuck. I probably could retrieve it, get it off somehow, but I'm not gonna bother. Once they stick on there, they really, well, these are cheap, so I guess shouldn't complain too much about I'm getting what I paid for. Get off there, you. Oh, just use another one. Not too high on my, I guess a little too high on my voltage. Not looking that bad. For those of you who might be worrying about the state of my garden with all this welding going on, don't worry. My garden is actually quite iron deficient, so this is actually helping it, if you can believe that. I had to add some iron to get some stuff to grow better. I'm just going to remember that philosophy they told me and hope they weren't lying, that the best bolting is equal to the worst welding. Let's see. All my splatter stuff comes off real easy. good to me. Inside of it looks pretty good too. Now I'm gonna make a second one of these off camera, and then I will probably paint both of them and then just leave them. I won't drill the hole for putting in the bolt or anything like that until I have the wagon that sits on top of them. But these are excellently low to the ground. They're exactly what I was hoping for. They're pretty tough feeling. At least I hope they're tough. And I guess what we'll do with this one is we're going to test it on the railway. And after we test it, that'll probably be the end of this video. So I'll say goodbye in voiceover. So let's head over there and test it. Alrighty then. The Bogey, as we can see, is finished. I had to wash it off because it was too hot to touch and all the metal burrs were getting all over my hands and stuff. So I just gave it a real quick rinse with the hose. Yes, I know that's going to rust the metal, but that's fine. It will survive. I'm not going to drill a hole here yet for the pin. I'll do that when it's time so that I can really think about if I want a pin drilled down through it and screwed from below, or if I want something welded. I'm still going to workshop that, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself and do that right now until I have the other part of the wagon to sit down on top of this. And for those of you who are wondering, that is kitty litter. I don't advise dumping used kitty litter on your railway tracks. Yes, that is full of turds. But, you know, fill was expensive, and I needed a place to dump it real fast because the cats had gone crazy. So, let's... I mean, it rolls. It is a little out of gauge, I will admit. I accidentally was a little overzealous, and it's got a little bit of wiggle room, but that's fine. On my rough rails, as long as it doesn't fall in between them or pop out of them, all is good. Oop, kicked it too hard. Woody, what are you doing? This does not belong to you. You are a truck, not a bogey wagon. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you enjoy my silly scrap metal railway. This was the Timberpony Railway, and I hope to see you in the next video. For now, I'll be saying bye-bye.